Hey y'all, I'm the Eclectic Blerd, and welcome to another Eclectic Review. Today we're going to be reviewing Stranger Things, Season 1, Episode 6, Chapter 6, entitled The Monster. So before I begin, don't y'all be a monster. Go ahead and like, comment, and subscribe to this channel. As you know, we're on the path to 100, so go ahead and help us get there. Become one of my eclectics as we continue to do all these eclectic reviews and our top fours and all the other content that we're going to be bringing to this channel. All right. Now that you're done, subscribe to the channel, hit the like button, hit the little notification button. Let's get to it. So, as you know, last episode I wasn't a big fan of because it just felt like every little group was fighting. Now, this episode for me felt like a lot of things starting to come together and almost the dots are almost connecting where all the teams are going to come together. You know, I split them up, right? There are three teams right now. We have the teenagers, we have the Goonies, and we have the adults, per se. And then off to the side is who I'm starting to really fall in love with, Dr. Clark, Mr. Clark. He's one of my favorite characters right now. Maybe because I like science and he comes from a scientific standpoint, even though a lot of the concepts are sci-fi. I am loving his character throughout the show, and he's usually on the screen 2 minutes, but maybe 5 minutes, 2 to 5 minutes each episode, and not even every episode, but I still love his character so much. Even this time, you know, they lab decided to use him to help find the Goonies by using his love for audio, for scientific things. And of course, the Goonies are his favorite studies, right? But anyway, let's see. Let's start with the teenagers. We have Jonathan and Nancy. You know, at the end of the last show, Nancy ended up in the Upside Down. She's running around. Jonathan is like, Nancy, Nancy. And next thing you know, she could hear his voice. And basically was like, hey, follow my voice, follow my voice. And they can kind of hear each other. And then she sees the opening that she went through and ran to it and stuck the hand through it. He realized with her and pulled her out of the Upside Down through the tree she went through. And when she got pulled out, the tree trunk actually came up and closed back up so you can't get back in and out of it. Very interesting. And of course, she's all gooed up and stuff. In the next scene, they were in her bedroom and she was taking a shower, right? And just having nightmares in her mind about what she saw with that monster, with the Demogorgon. I guess that's what we're calling it now. And so all that's going on, and it's just like, ooh, she's gonna really have nightmares for the rest of her life after seeing that. But so she's going through that, and he's putting out the pallet on the floor, and he was like, I think it's okay. I didn't think neither one of us wanted to be alone tonight. And she was like, you're right. So she get in the bed and then say, can you get up here with me? So I get in the bed, and while all this is happening, Steve shows up and sees Jonathan, you know, consoling Nancy and got mad, right? So that's gonna come and play later. And so she get in bed and she didn't sleep. She's looking up stuff about hunters and not hunters, just animals that search for prey, how they go after the blood and what they're the meat and all this stuff, and how sharks just get a drip of blood and they can find it. And you know, they're coming up with theories of how this Demogorgon works. And in order for it to work, they would have to test the theory out. So they decide to go and buy a whole bunch of traps and bullets for guns and all kind of other stuff. Like they, going, some major hunt. The guy like, what y'all finna do with this stuff? And that's like monster hunting. And he's like, man, y'all teenagers. And just let them buy the stuff. They leave, and Steve's old friends, which I haven't liked since the beginning, because I think they are messy. But actually, this episode showed how messy they were. So they went around to the theater and put that Nancy is a slut on there and was writing sluts other places. And I'm just like, Steve, you let your friends do that, bro? You know they messy. You know it. And you allowing them to do that because of your anger. But anyway, she runs and finds them in the alley, give Steve a little slap like, I dare you do that. He's like, yeah, you was in that room with Jonathan. Yeah, I saw y'all. Oh, you saw us. So Jonathan runs around and so Steve and Nancy are kind of having a mini argument there. And then Jonathan's like, you know what? Let's go. So they're walking away, and Steve do the one thing you really can't do to anybody. Start talking about their family, right? Talking about you're a failure. Their entire family failure. I can't. Your father bad. Your mother is no good and crazy. It's no wonder that happened to your brother. At that moment, he snapped, turned around, and died at Steve, right? So they get into a fight, and frankly, Steve can't fight. This was just like, dude, you can't duck no punches. So Jonathan, wearing him out. The police come. Jonathan accidentally hit the police. The other people run. So Jonathan and Nancy basically get arrested, right? Jonathan especially. And so they had the thing, and the woman there was like, that he likes you, man. That love is what make a man act that stupid. And so Nancy's like, but we're not. So now she's thinking, do I have feelings for him or not? And so basically their story ends in jail. Next we have the adults. The adults that are sitting there like, he's explaining, the Sheriff Hopper is explaining to Joyce, hey, I was in there, and these are things I saw. And she's like, there's a kid's room from the bed, there's a drawing, and then he brings out the drawing, like, no, it's not it. And then they realize that maybe it's the other child that the other guy saw before he was killed with no hair. And they decide to go to visit Terry Eyes. They get there, Terry's sitting in front of TV, not saying a word, just staring at the TV. So the sister is talking for them. So they go talk to the sister and says that Terry was into all the, use your mind to figure things out, working for the government, and Hopper like CIA. He was like, yeah, she would have liked you. And basically she said that, there's no birth certificate to the daughter. And even though my sister sued, she never had the baby, she had a miscarriage. So there was nothing to show there. And now Hopper thinking, okay, that could be covered up. And the sister's like, well, like you said, like I said, you and Tara really got along. And so they leave the place. Joyce distraught, like, it's been 11, 12 years. And then Hopper was like, you know what I would give for a chance? Because from previous episode that he lost his daughter, right? And so all that's going on, and while they're in the car, after he's seeing that, they're feeling like the government covering something up. They get a call saying, you need to go get Joyce and come to the office. We arrested Jonathan. And so now the sheriff, Joyce, Jonathan are finna meet up, and Nancy are finna meet up at the sheriff's office, right? So now they're finna meet up, but they don't show it. Now we get to the Goonies. remember in that episode they're split. So Dustin come to Mike to be like, oh, you, Elle, and Lucas were acting crazy. I was the only one acting right. But Mike like, but she might have been trying to save, but she said it's a bad place. You know, she didn't mean to. You're like, no, y'all still acting crazy. We need to make up. You and Lucas need to make up, and we need to find Elle. You know, we need to get back as a team. You drew first blood. You got to go shake the hand. So I guess within their little Goonie setup, that if you start a fight, you go apologize and ask for the handshake, right? So they go to Lucas' house. Lucas walking around trying to decide if he want to shake hand. They're like, I shake your hand if Elle don't come. And they're like, no, Elle's in the group now. And you're like, nah, she ain't part of the Goonies, bro. Nah, if you're doing that, I'm doing it on my own. And at that point, he busts through and they decide to leave to go out to Elle. Lucas decided to do his little Rambo thing and put his little things on and wrap the bandana around his head and everything. Pretty funny, but you know, kind of very 80s because they look just like the Rambo movie, and especially the cartoon. They really played that out when they had that Rambo cartoon. But he goes and tries to follow the compass thing like Dustin had said. He goes to the fence and realizes that it's the lab. And while he's there, he sees the same truck that he saw outside their houses when he left, which is like an electric company truck, which he thought was weird. But he just went to a tree and just was looking around trying to figure out if he can get in. He's looking at the army people and a lot of things going on. Now we get back to Elle herself. At this point, she's hungry. She's having daydreams about what happened and how all of this started. And she went, and the guy was telling her, the father she knew was saying, okay, you're going to be okay. These people for him, they're putting her back into the little bath in order for her to make contact to what other things she saw. So then to present time, she goes into the store, gets a whole bunch of Eggos, and start walking out. And the guy like, you gotta pay for that. And then she makes somebody buggy come. Then she make the door slam, and then just kind of walks away. And so the Mike and Dustin come by, and they're like, oh, she's been this way. And they keep going. And at that point, saying, Elle. And Elle kind of hear them while she was eating the Eggos. When it gets to a certain point, the two bullies show up. The ones that they're bullying them at the all the time, right, at the school. So they get to running and they go to the cliff where the fake wheel was found, right, at that quarry. They get there. The bully that was made to pee on himself grabbed Dustin and pulled out a knife like he was going to do something to him and told Mike to jump. So Mike went to the edge and actually jumped off. There was such a, I can't believe he jumped kind of moment. Then they ran over to see, because they didn't hear a splash, like what's going on. They looked down, he's like stuck in midair. And I'm like, oh, Elle showing up. And then that you know he gets pulled back and thrown on the ground. Then they turn and Elle's walking up like, enough for this. So she just kind of pushed down one of the guys, the friend. And then the guy with the knife, she basically broke his own right and told them to go. And then Dustin started talking to her like, you better not mess with us again. She'll get you, man. She'll kill you. You better stay away from us. Just talking all that noise, right? So, of course, Elle faints because every time she uses her telekinesis, she gets weak and tired. And so just needs time to rest. And her nose bleeds. So they pick her up and she's like, I'm sorry. I opened up the gate. I'm the monster. And Michael's like, no, you're not the monster. You saved me. Then they did a group hug with Mike, Elle, and Dustin. So at that point, they decide to walk back to the house. And then, of course, because of the conversation they had with Mr. Clark, they knew where all of them stayed. So they were all looking for them, and they're like, oh, they're back home. And so the one agent told them back home. And so Lucas saw them getting ready for war, it looked like. And while he was in the tree. And they came out getting guns and stuff, getting ready to come pick her up. And so next thing you know, she closes the door to the house. Show goes off. Loved it, loved it, loved it. Now you're back to what I love to see. Each group are getting closer and closer together to finding what they need to find, right? So they're all looking for the same thing. They're looking for Will, and they all kind of generally have an ideal of that monster as well. What the young Goonies like, what the Goonies are calling the Demogorgon, right? So, man, I'm loving the show now. Well, now I've been loving it. So it looks like I'm 2 episodes from finishing season 1. So y'all need to come and tell me if I should keep going or if I should stop at season 1 or just do all 3 seasons and we'll go from there. But again, like I said, great show. I'm loving it. Mr. Clock's my favorite, but I digress. But if you want to talk more about this show, about other shows that are on the air, about what's going on in the world and in these nerd streets, hey, just follow me on Twitter at Eclectic Blerd. You can follow me on Instagram at _eclectic_blerd. And you can follow this channel on Facebook at What the Soul. Again, don't forget, we're on the path to 100. So go ahead and give this channel a subscribe. Hit the little notification button so you get notified when I'm dropping videos. And just help us grow so we can continue to put out more and more content for you guys, for you and I to connect. All right? Man, it's been such a good, I'm so happy my wife told me to watch this show. But it's been a good day. Thank y'all for coming. Until next time, I'm out.